Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, aka the Paris Quiz Mistress. I live in Paris and I host trivia nights. And although I'm usually the one asking the questions, this podcast is a chance for me to turn the tables on some of my trivia buddies and have them quiz me. But of course, I also quiz them on some of their favorite topics. So I hope you play along and geek out with us. In this episode of the podcast, I invited my friend Adi to come and chat with me and to do some quizzing. We have been friends for probably about 5 years in Paris, and we discuss how he got into quizzing growing up in India. And we both really, really love food. We're always checking out new restaurants, and so that will become apparent with some of the questions that you're gonna hear. We also get into a topic that I'm always fascinated by, is the eternal question: what is trivia versus what is quizzing? And we do not agree. So look forward to that. Enjoy the episode with me and Adi. Welcome to the podcast, Adi.
Thanks, Sarah. Happy to be here.
I'm glad. So, why don't you introduce yourself and a little bit about why and how we know each other?
So I'm Aditya. I'm from India. I've been in Paris for about 9 years now. I used to do some trivia back home, and then when I came to Paris for the first year or so, I was just like, it's too much effort to go and try and find English-speaking trivia. And then, lo and behold, I found that there were actually a couple of pub quizzes, which were quite nice. And so I showed up, and that's when we met.
Do you know how my recollection of that fateful evening?
Go for it.
I had done a picture round. Do you remember what it was?
Was it beers?
No.
Was it movie clips?
No. It was Metro cards from around the world.
Yep.
And I thought it was tricky.
Okay.
And so I did my picture around round 2, and everyone struggled. And then one team got them all right. And I said, I'm going to go find out who these dirty cheaters are. And it took me about 20 seconds to realize that you're not dirty cheaters. You're like legit geeks. I'm like, why do you know what the Bogota Metro card looks like? And then I was like, ooh, Allies. I have found Allies.
That's a throwback. But yeah, that was a really fun quiz with Holger. We had a good time.
Cool. So, can you tell me a little bit about how you got into quizzing?
So this takes me a while back. So this was when I was probably 4 or 5. We used to go on road trips with my dad and mom, and we never had a cassette deck. We never had a tape deck in the car. Road trips were for conversation, and conversation typically meant that we needed to either come up with creative answers to things that we knew about, or completely right answers that we had practiced before. And so the first question that I remember my dad asking me was, what's common between the assassinations of JFK and Abraham Lincoln? And I had to come up with as many reasons or as many things as I could. I got points for wrong answers too, as long as they were creative.
You were 4.
I was 5 or 6. Yeah.
That's some classic trivia. It's like their secretaries had the same name.
Yeah.
And there was also the thing that they were both assassinated by 3 named assassins.
People, exactly. Yes.
Which I think isn't. I mean,
it isn't. Yeah, it's pushing
it
a little bit.
You can call people by their middle name and be like, whoa. Like, were they known by their middle? I don't know. Yeah, but that's good. Yeah. Cool. So, how did you get from there to here? Can you take me through maybe the Cliff Notes version? But no, I'm curious how you have developed as a quizzer. Do you self-identify as a quizzer?
Sure. Let's say yes. I think Quizzer is definitely better than trivia, because trivia seems to be a little trivial.
See, I have the opposite opinion, I think.
Okay.
And for me, quizzes can be like, you can have a round where you can have to make a sculpture out of tinfoil.
Okay.
And that counts for points.
Okay.
And I want trivia.
Okay, gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't want like, I don't know, like stupid, like a ping pong on a ball on a spoon type things in my quizzes.
Yeah.
Also anagrams. I hate anagrams. I don't think they're trivia. That's you know, it's a controversial opinion, but anyways. So for me, that's the distinction. But what is it for you?
So, I mean, so with trivia, it's usually things that you know, right? You have to usually know an answer. With quizzing, I feel like you try and work at an answer. You don't have to know everything. You can know something about something, and you can still try and figure out what the answer could be.
See, that's my definition of trivia.
Okay.
Okay, so we agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
we agree. Okay, cool. So, how did what was your next stop on this journey?
So when I was in school, I was in 4th grade. We had this ramen noodles company in India called Maggi. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's from Nestle.
Yes.
Yeah. So they organized a quiz apparently to get people hooked onto Maggi. And I showed up with this buddy of mine, and we won that. And we were like, so I guess knowing random stuff actually helps, and you can actually do something with it. And from then on, we just kept going. I used to go with multiple different people to quizzes. It was an event at cultural festivals in school. And so that was through most of my school time. And then I guess in 11th and 12th grade in high school is when I got into it. I got a partner. We were quite complimentary at it. And then we really went on with it. And then it just went on from there.
Cool. Yeah, there's a big quiz culture in India, yeah.
It's huge, yeah. Yeah, it's very different from what it is in Paris or in the US or in the UK, but I think it's definitely a really huge thing.
Yeah, well, what I've noticed from some of the like Indian Quiz Association stuff that you've roped me into willingly, gladly, it's the formats tend to be, it's not really a pub culture thing, but it's more like small like groups or associations, and it's all like PowerPoint based.
Yeah.
So it's all like text and like maybe some photo clues, but the questions are very, very long.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm for one who's also someone who makes long questions. As you might know.
Cool. So you moved from Coimbatore.
Yep. Coimbatore in India.
To Paris directly?
Yep. That was a big leap.
Okay.
But yeah, I made it in 2011. I think we came in about the same time.
Yeah.
More or less. Came here to do my master's. I'm like, I'm in Paris. Who the hell even knows about quizzing here? No one's really gonna care very much. And like I said, about a year or so in, I discovered that there were actually pub quizzes and people who were really into it.
What other types of quizzing do you do on a regular basis besides the pub quizzes, which you don't do on a regular basis? Let's be frank.
I used to do them on a regular basis, but no. I mean, so there's Learned League, which you roped me into.
What about your like WhatsApp group quizzing?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of subcultures there. So WhatsApp quizzing is a really big deal. I think especially in India in the last 3-4 years, there's a lot of groups which are smaller groups, and then you have groups with literally up to 255 people in them. And they're
which is the WhatsApp limit.
Exactly.
For a group, yeah.
Exactly. And they're usually themed. So there's one on sports, there's one on pop culture, and then there's also smaller groups with more of my friends from back home, from the quiz circle. And then we just, depending on the time of the day, we're just like, hey, is anyone up for a question or a couple of questions? And we just ask away on WhatsApp.
Yeah, for sure. Could you tell me a little bit about also another thing you introduced me to is the like quizzing association, like yearly quizzes?
Oh yeah. That's interesting as well. So this is when I just started to go to these quizzes, and I'm like, when I was in India, we used to have these quizzes in the year. You'd have these World Quizzing Championships, you'd have an Irish Open, you'd have a lot of these different quiz associations for different countries who used to do their own quizzes. And I'm like, I don't see any of those in Paris. How do I sign up for those? Funnily, when I was in the UK, I ended up going to, this is a really interesting story. When I was in the UK, I ended up going to Burton-upon-Trent, which is literally in the middle of nowhere. but it ended up being where I sat at the same table as Jesse Honey, who was the World Quiz Champion at the time, Didier Bruyere, who then went on to become World Quiz Champion another time, and I shared a train ride back with Kevin Ashman, who was also a World Quiz Champion. So that was...
Were you there for a trivia thing?
Yeah, so I went there for a quiz. So they do the Grand Prix circuit in the UK, which is run by the IQA, the International Quiz Association. I did really badly at it, but I was just there, completely starstruck, looking at all these people. And Chris Jones, who runs the organization, said, there's actually folks in Paris who actually do this. Let me put you in touch with them.
Ah, very cool. Yeah, those are fun, but they're
hardcore.
They're hardcore. Yeah. My goal is not last, and I rarely accomplish it.
Yeah, my goal's often been half, and I've practically never accomplished it.
Yeah. Shall we get on to the quiz portion?
Let's do it.
First question. Something that we both share is that we really love doing fake Scottish accents.
Uh-huh.
So, we're not the only ones, it turns out. So I will give you the name of an actor.
Okay.
And you name the film in which they committed, quote, crimes against the Scottish accent, according to BBC Scotland, and a documentary that's called Dream Me Up, Scotty.
Nice. I like that pun already.
So, first one, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Oh yeah, he acted as William Wallace. And that must have been in Braveheart.
Correct. Next one, there are 3 possible answers.
Okay.
Mike Myers.
Oof. Mike Myers, I would go to probably the series he's most famous for, and I would say Austin Powers.
Yes. Fat bastard.
Okay.
Yep. Can you get the other 2?
Oof.
There's one you can get. You've definitely seen it. It's another series.
Is that Bill and Ted?
No.
Okay.
It's I can give you a big
hint.
hint.
Wait. Oh no. Okay. I think I know this. Does it have Eddie Murphy in the other role?
Maybe.
So that's Shrek.
Correct. There's one more, but it's the toughest one.
Okay. Do you have a clue for that?
I think it was one of his first movies.
Okay, yeah. I'm not super big on Mike Myers beyond the couple of movies.
So it's So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that one. Wouldn't have got there.
Last, fake Scott. It's a little bit trickier. Robin Williams.
Ooh. Robin Williams playing a Scot. I have a guess, but I'm not sure how right that's going to be. It's probably a movie he was in with Pierce Brosnan. I was going to say Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's tricky because the character says that she's English.
Right.
But the accent is very Scottish.
Nice. I like that wee little round that you just put together.
You couldn't help yourself. Next question. Name the annual festival, which dates back to 1810, that has been canceled in 2020 like everything else and pretty much the whole year. I will say that previous cancellations and postponements of this festival include in 1854 and 1873 due to cholera epidemics, and also during the years of the Franco-Prussian War, World War I, and World War II. What festival?
Okay, so that's definitely in Europe, based on all those clues that you just gave. Feels like Germany, because we're talking about the Franco-Prussian War, and yeah, I'm just gonna go with something that's in Munich, which I've actually been to, I think, 3 out of the last 4 years, and that's Oktoberfest, or as the Müncheners call it, Wiesn.
No bonus points for the endonym, but yes, it is Oktoberfest. Correct.
Nice.
Cool. Next question. An anagram of the present day capital. Which city served as its country's capital from 1794 until 1868.
Okay, if you're asking me this, I feel like it has something to do with the place that I've been to, or that we've both been to, sometime in the last couple of years. Which brings me to Japan, and in Japan, the city would probably be Kyoto and Tokyo.
Correct. Kyoto was the former capital, and it's an anagram of the current capital, which is Tokyo. Very nice. Next question. Owned by chef Pietro Lehmann, the restaurant Gioia in Milan has the distinction of becoming the first Michelin-starred restaurant in Europe that is also what?
Gioia in Milan. Well, I'm vegetarian, but I know that there's other vegetarian Michelin star restaurants. Is it probably the only vegan Michelin star restaurant?
No, so you overcorrected. It was the first vegetarian.
Okay, yeah.
In Europe.
Thought too much about that one. Should have gone with the obvious.
Next question. The following English words originate from which language? Catamaran, curry, pariah, and patchouli.
All right. Catamaran is katamaram. What else did you have?
Curry.
Curry is curry.
Pariah.
Pariah is paraya.
And patchouli.
Patchouli weirdly sounds familiar, but I cannot remember the exact equivalent. And that's probably then going to be my mother tongue, which is Tamil.
Correct.
Well done. It's interesting because I think a lot of people just assume that most Indian languages come from Sanskrit, which is true. A lot of Indian languages do come from Sanskrit, but Tamil is one of the oldest languages in the world. I think it's more than 3,000 years old or something like that. And so, yeah, it has its own completely different origin, which I think is really cool because I also speak it.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Next question. Complete this architectural analogy.
Okay.
Sydney is to Jorn Utzon as Paris is to whom?
Okay, so Jorn Utzon is the person who designed, or the architect behind, the Sydney Opera House, which means that for Paris, that is probably going to be Garnier, whose first name I can't for the life of me remember.
Well, it's Jeopardy rules, so the last name counts unless otherwise stated. And you don't want to put an incorrect first name.
Exactly.
Them's the rules. Is that universal quizzing rules?
It is, yeah. Pretty much.
Anyways, that's correct. Good job. I don't know who designed the Opéra Bastille, but we don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it has better sound.
Have you been to either?
I've been to the one at Bastille.
Okay. Great. Moving right along. I have an art history question for you.
Okay.
One of your strongest categories, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Pressure.
And this one I actually have to credit Hannah Gadsby for.
Okay, nice.
Because she's a big art history nerd. So this one was from her most latest special, which maybe you haven't seen.
I haven't.
It's a great piece of trivia. So, which Ninja Turtle of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a much earlier Renaissance artist than the other three turtles, who were all of them contemporaries of each other?
Right. Ninja Turtles, just a sidebar, used to be one of my favorite shows growing up, and I had the biggest crush on April O'Neil. So that was just a completely random sidebar.
Who is April O'Neil?
She's the reporter who hangs out with the four of them.
Oh.
Yep. And I always wanted to be Michelangelo because he was always eating pizzas.
Weren't they all eating pizzas? Wasn't that the thing?
I think Michelangelo was a bit of a glutton, who I identify with. Anyway, so there's Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Donatello. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael were all from the 16th century, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Donatello is from the 15th or maybe even the 14th. So I'm going to go with Donatello.
Donatello is correct. Yeah, he barely overlapped with, I forget which one, just in terms of like lifespan.
Right.
But yeah, he was much earlier. Next question. Surprisingly, which Beatles song contains the opening notes of a war anthem, which dates back to 1792?
Oof. Beatles. You had to ask a music question, didn't you? I do know a lot of the Beatles songs, but I'm in no way thinking about going through that list. I don't have it in any sort of way or form in my head that I can try and formulate an answer there. Do you have a clue, something I can work with?
This relates to something that we did together. We saw this song performed.
Okay.
Not by the Beatles.
Yeah. So I would guess that that's a song which has since been covered several times, which would mean that the first song that comes to mind, honestly, it's a little sad, would be While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
No.
Okay. What Beatles song have we seen? If we've seen it, we've probably seen Florence and the Machine.
Florence.
Yeah, well. Florence and the Machine perform it. God. How do I not remember what they covered?
You might want to come at it from which war anthem?
I'm still drawing a blank. Was it Auld Lang Syne? Would that be the war anthem?
When did we see Florence and the Machine?
2014, 2015?
There's a reason why she played this song.
Yeah, I'm still drawing a blank. I'm gonna have to tap out of this one.
Okay. So the war anthem was La Marseillaise.
Right. That's where I was going with my next guess for the war anthem.
Can you get the Beatles song that starts with the opening notes of La Marseillaise?
No. This is just like a complete zero for me.
It's okay. Hey, there needed to be one. Jeez. Yeah. It's All You Need Is Love.
That has the Marseillaise?
It has a lot of things like that, like different bits of different songs in it, actually.
Oh, wow.
But most famously, the opening notes of the Marseillaise. And this was one of the first concerts that was allowed to happen back in Paris after the Bataclan attacks.
Yeah, of course. Okay, nice. Yeah, I didn't know this. Fun fact, nice.
I thought it was a very moving moment.
It was a really nice moment. I do remember it now, of course, but yeah, for whatever reason, that wasn't in my mind.
Last question. Of all the metro systems in the world, because we met because of systems, metro trivia. So of all the metro systems in the world, London was the first. Beijing is the busiest and has the longest track. But which city boasts the most stations with 424?
Okay, so this is interesting because I actually remember going to a pub quiz in the UK and there was a question about which metro system has the most number of stations in it. I think I got it wrong. And it was so far back that I don't remember what I put down or what the right answer is, but let's try and guess this. It's probably going to be a big city with metros that are probably not extremely well spaced out. I know Paris has a lot of stations. It's a small city with a really dense network of metro stations.
Yeah, you can see the next one from in the tunnel. Yeah.
Exactly. Paris is one option. Another thing I'm thinking of is maybe New York, but I don't know if they have that many. I'm just going to try and keep this simple and go with Paris.
No, it's New York. Paris has 303, I believe. Okay. New York has way more.
Okay.
424. New York's big.
Yeah, that's true.
All the boroughs.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All
right, cool. Well, I managed to stump you. I wasn't sure that was going to be possible.
Nice. Well done. I really like the questions.
Oh, I'm glad. Oh, that means a lot coming from you. Would you like to prepare your revenge?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here I go. First question. Since you were talking about it, and you said art history is one of my strong suits, it's a little bit of a long question, but listen. From November 2006 to April 2011, It was number 5, 1948 by Jackson Pollock. From then till September 2015, it was The Card Players by Cézanne. And from then till November 17th, 2017, it was interchanged by Willem de Kooning. What is it since then to date?
Okay, so I think you're going with most expensive pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And this was something that I think I've definitely asked before. It's, I believe Da Vinci is on there. I'm gonna go with Da Vinci.
Yep, it is by Da Vinci. Do you want to try and guess which one it is?
It's the title. When you say it, I'm gonna know it, but I'm not gonna come up with it.
It translates to the Savior of the World.
Something Mondo.
Yeah, Salvatore
Mundi. Yes, yep. Salvatore Mundi. Yes, no. I asked this when it happened, when it broke the record for nice. the most expensive piece of art ever sold. And I believe during quarantine quizzes, I think we had a bonus round that you had to name the top artists, like the top 8
nice.
Artists.
Nice.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, you'll get points for that. You got there. You got the theme and you went for it.
Yeah, it's like whose line is it anyway, so everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, good. Cool.
Nice.
Okay,
well
cool.
Done. The next one is also very much in our wheelhouse. It's something that I think we both enjoy. What two-letter words for numbing and spicy, a reflection of how you would feel after, represents the seasoning or the flavor ingredients in Chinese cuisine, especially from Sichuan or Chongqing.
So I think I recently learned this. Is it mapo?
Oof. You've got one. One is ma.
Uh-huh.
It's not po.
Okay. Because I order the mapo everything, and I buy like the mapo sauce.
Yeah.
And it makes your mouth all numb, and
yeah,
it's fun.
Do you want to try and guess what the second piece could be?
So it's another two-letter syllable.
Exactly.
What does ma mean in that case?
So ma is numbing,
mm-hmm.
and the other one means spicy.
I'm trying to think. This is because we love to go to 2 fois plus de piment.
Exactly.
And 3 fois plus de piment, 5 fois plus de piment.
And that's vivant.
Yes.
We can keep going.
Yeah. Passions. No, I don't know.
It rhymes with ma.
I mean, I could just go through all the letters.
Okay. It's mala.
Mala. Okay.
Mala.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I mean, I need to start ordering different things because I just order the same thing all the time. Good. Okay, so I've gotten half of 2 questions so far.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Good.
All right. I'm not going to say anything about this. I'm just going to go with the question, and then you'll probably figure out what I mean.
Cool.
This monument is referred to locally as the Darbar Sahib, meaning exalted court, or the Harmandir Sahib, meaning abode of God. How do we more commonly know it?
So, I think because it's you asking this question to me, I think it's somewhere we went together in Amritsar.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with the Golden Temple.
Well done. That is the Golden Temple, which, of course, we went to after going to like this really cool wedding in India. And it's beautiful. It's this golden building with a lovely lake around it, and it is also considered the most important Sikh temple or gurudwara in the world.
Yes. It was the only thing that we did that wasn't eating, and I was very proud of us.
Yep. That was one hell of a food trip. Yeah.
I remember before we left, because usually I travel with people who like food but also like want to do other things, and I was like, this could either be really great or just like a massacre.
Yeah. Because
I know what did you say? You one time you were in New York and you ate 8 meals in a day. Yep. So I was like, when we went to Amritsar together, I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? And it was actually good. So we saw the Golden Temple, and then we just ate for the rest of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which was perfect. That's exactly how you're supposed to travel through Amritsar and India and anywhere.
Anywhere, literally. No, we agree. We should do another trip together.
Yeah.
Do you remember the train ride?
Oh, yes.
No, I just remember we were like, because it was like a really early train. It was like all day, the train. And we were like, okay, so we're going to like have breakfast. And we're like, okay, great. Like, get a bunch of stuff. And then you said, okay, strategic planning moment. Let's break before lunch. And I was like, great strategy. Amazing. I went to the bathroom. I come back. Within the space of 2 minutes, there were like more sandwiches. And I was like, what have you done?
It was just a nostalgia attack, Sarah, and I have very bad control when it comes to food. You know this at this point.
Well, I mean, I was very pleased with it, and now I have nostalgia for Indian train food as well.
Moving to another subject, which I think is very much in your wheelhouse, 99% Invisible. Is a fantastic podcast, which you obviously know about. It's a really nice podcast about design and things that are generally overlooked. And it takes its title from the following quote by which famous Milton, Massachusetts born architect, designer, and inventor. The quote goes, 99% of who you are is invisible and untouchable.
Oh, okay. So I knew that the title came from a design principle. That good design is supposed to be 99% invisible. I did not know it came from this quote, and even less so that it came from a fellow masshole.
Yeah.
But I don't know who it was. From Milton, Massachusetts, you said, an architect?
Yep. He's also really famous in chemistry because his architecture and design elements got applied in chemical atomic structure and so on.
I'm gonna need more hints. I don't know.
Okay. You might know of a ball which is named after him. It's called a blank ball.
Bucky?
Yes.
Oh, really?
So what's Bucky's full name?
Can I just say Bucky?
Bucky's fine. Bucky's fine. You'll get points for Bucky.
That was a good hint. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I should assume that was a person. Okay, who's Bucky?
Buckminster Fuller.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is not Bucky. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
TIL.
And the structures that he came up with were supposed to be the perfect combination of space, and he, I think, came up with the perfect sphere of sorts at the time, which became the buckyball.
Okay, so Fuller would have been correct.
Exactly.
Bucky is incorrect.
Bucky's fine.
It's incorrect.
Hey, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, points don't matter. All right, what else you got for me?
All right, closer to home, situated in the 16th arrondissement of Paris, the area was a forested parkland used by the royal family before the French Revolution. The fact that certain members of the royal family used to spend time there gave what monument in Paris its name. And take monument in the really loose sense of the term. Okay,
so fun fact, the Bois de Vincennes and the Bois de Boulogne are part of Paris.
Yep.
So I would guess it would be the Bois de Boulogne. But I don't know if it's like a monument. I don't know how loose.
Yeah, so I say monument in that some people who are very ardently into a certain activity consider this a monument.
Oh, so is it like the Hippodrome?
Closer, much closer.
Oh, is this a sports thing?
Yes.
Okay. You know. Okay. No, like is that where the oh my god, which one's over there? The Stade de France is north.
Yes.
So it's not the Stade de France.
It's
is it Roland Garros? No, it's not the. It's a stadium. Like Celine Dion played there, I think.
Maybe. Think of royal family and members of the royal family.
I don't know. Is it like
titles of the royal family?
The Roi. Parc des Princes.
Well done.
Parc des Princes. I got it. Excellent. Good question. Damn, sports question. Okay.
Yeah, it was to push you a little bit into the sports world of Paris.
It was uncomfortable, but I'm living with the discomfort. I'm sitting with it.
All right, cool. Let's keep going.
Keep going.
This next one Again, this is probably your specialty subject, if I can call it that. In the world of Harry Potter, the visitor's entrance to the Ministry of Magic is in an abandoned red telephone booth in London. You had to dial 62442 to get in. Why were those numbers chosen?
So, I know this. And I think I've asked this before when I did a Harry Potter quiz. And yeah, so this is one of those things where when you found it out, I remember when I found out this fact when I was little, I was just like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Exactly.
Harry Potter is weird because the author is completely unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't
Exactly.
know. We don't know who wrote it.
Yeah.
It just fell out of the sky one day, but they're really great stories.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's because it spells magic.
Yep.
On an old push button telephone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Yeah, of course you knew that.
Yes.
Like I said, your specialty subject.
Thanks.
All right. This is going to be my last question.
All right.
Which group, loosely speaking, popular in the 17th and 18th century, got their names from their ability to get ready for action in very little time?
17th and 18th?
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting. I know this because one of them is featured, I believe, on the Massachusetts state flag
Absolutely.
and state quarter.
Yes.
These are the Minutemen.
Absolutely. Well done. Yeah. Wanted to take you back home.
Thanks. Yes.
Yeah.
Minutemen. Such a military symbol, I suppose, for our great state.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, funnily enough, I was reading about them and I found out that they've been in existence for almost 100 years before the American War of Independence.
So what were they active for, like, I don't know, the French and Indian War?
Yeah, a lot of different conflicts and a lot of local, I guess, skirmishes. They were involved, they were called up to help out.
Cool. Yeah, just a ragtag bunch.
Yep. And with that, we are done with my questions. Good job, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Addy. What a ride. That was good. That was terse.
Nice.
Amazing. Cool. Well, I thank you very much for being here and for putting forth your quiz efforts to this noble cause.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun. And we got to reminisce about trips and concerts from the past, which we need to do more of in the future.
I wholeheartedly agree. Thank you for listening. If you want more quizzing, you can sign up for the Paris Quiz Mistress newsletter on the Facebook page of the same name, where you can also see upcoming dates for my real-life pub quizzes. If you happen to be in town, please stop by. And until then, stay nerdy, y'all, and keep quizzing.